Alright, time now is 11:33 a.m. in the morning on October 29th. Um, yeah, uh, I went to bed at 3:05, unfortunately kind of late, and then I naturally woke up at 10:30. Um, but I didn't want to leave the bed, so I just stayed on it, and then somehow I fell back asleep, and then I woke up again at 11:20. So, that's that. But yeah, last night was huge relief. The director responded to me. Wow. The race is on, baby. Um, Again, like I said, when I called my mom mid-October and told her, I didn't tell her this, but in my head I was like, we're discussing what's going to happen in December when we go to Japan, but I don't even have a single clue what's going to happen by the end of October. That's very much true. Because at that point, Aoba hasn't worked with the director yet. Aoba hasn't made the Instagram story yet. And yesterday hadn't happened yet. And then it all just happened and suddenly it's a thing now. So that's that. So today is going to be a suspiciously chill day. I'm not gonna do much, honestly. Um, um, yeah, I'm going to Yeah, I'm going to go to Ralph's to buy food because if I don't do that today, then next chance I get will be Thursday, which is quite late. So I'm gonna go to Ralph's. Um, and yeah, that's it. I'm gonna do homework and stuff and things. Ooh, man. So yeah, again, yesterday I was so prepared to lose. But now that I'm winning again, I'm like, I almost feel a little, man, do I even deserve this? Because honestly, nothing but good things have happened in round two so far. You remember how back in I guess early September or I think late August I was like, nothing good has happened in this round so far. And that's true, but once September has begun, the moment the semester had begun, like I've been doing nothing but winning ever since. Like me getting in the same class with Aoba and Pepper, and then with the film festival with HKOS, with this feature film, with Aoba short, Tom's short, with me getting in camera, like, and then the amateur art house film festival, like, it's been nothing but winning for me. So, yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing. Uh, I have nothing else to say. Just want to keep it short and simple. I may do the laundry. I can't find my black underwear. I don't know why. So I have four underwear that I just wear in a cycle. Light blue, blue, dark blue, and black. But then I just can't find the black one. Did it fucking disappear? Um yeah, I don't know. And I'm looking to go past 2200 cows today, if possible. All right, I'm back. It's 6:47. This is what I got. More brown eggs. It's always been the brown eggs. 2 garlic. 4 carrots. Frozen food. Blueberry yogurt. Some beef bit steak tips. Chicken thighs. Goddamn. Okay, someone's tweeting at me right now. Steak. That's all. Next up, we got toothpaste. We got brioche bread. We got 1 red bell pepper. We got more soda. We got small potatoes. And we got cookies, and they're extremely important for quick mornings. All right, so time now is 8:38. Let's wrap it up today. Yeah, so quite a bit has happened today, even though nothing happened. Something did happen. Yeah, I went to Ralph's, but right before that at 4 p.m., I had a 90-minute long phone call, a 1 hour, 30-minute long phone call with Michelle, the Middle Eastern American girl who I later found out was Persian father, El Salvadorian mother, American girl, who's apparently only 20 years old. And essentially, the purpose of this phone call is she wants me to be her spy in film 32, and I would essentially rat out and snitch to her about all of my classmates in film 32 and what are everyone's strengths and weaknesses if they work well. And the reason being is that film 33 is going on. So if you don't know what film 33 is, film 33 is the ultimate class in the film program of my college. It is the ultimate class and it is the biggest, by biggest I mean like most important, the most ultimate class. Basically, throughout the entire class, you and everyone else make one short film throughout the entire semester. The pre-production, the production, the post-production, one semester. And then afterwards, the school, the professors may take this short film to film festivals, specifically to Cannes Film Festival. And it's funny because my college had, out of the 3 spots in, I guess, Cannes Film Festival's North American short film thing, my college took all 3 spots, or maybe just the California section, but I don't know, but my college is pretty powerful when it comes to filmmaking, right? However, in this semester's film 33, under the Italian professor, it's really disorganized, and about 40% of the people in that class right now basically didn't do anything and free ride. They're not doing anything. So right now film 33 is in desperate need of help. So they're looking for help from film 32, which is my class, Wednesday, and Friday's class. For Friday's class, Michelle already spoke to Betsy, who is a close friend of Michelle's, and the person in the entire film 32 class whom she trusts the most is me. And that's partially because it's Betsy. Betsy told Michelle that I am honest and trustworthy. Holy fuck. Thank you. Again, just the idea that people are mentioning my name and, talking about me just validates my existence so hard. It's amazing. But anyways, you know what? I don't like snitching on people, but this is fun, so I'm doing it. So Michelle told me, okay, I won't tell anyone about this. The professor will not know. Nobody else will know. This will be between you and me. And I'm going to write down a list. So Michelle pulled out a whole long list of students in my class and told me to talk about them one by one. And first off, I was like, okay, Eric is good at production design. And at some point, we mentioned Pepper, and I told her, oh, Pepper likes makeup, and a lot of other people likes camera operating and the camera department. I realized this, even though I'm being a snitch, let's not call myself a snitch. I'm not really snitching on anyone. I'm an informant. I realized that I don't have any bad things to say about my classmates because they're all really nice. And I had a great time in film 32. I can't speak for others, but I had a good experience because a lot of people are really nice to me in film 32. So I can't really shit on that many people, aside from a couple of people, one of which is Birkin, the Turkish guy, who's kind of cocky, and the other is David. And David is a huge red flag, and I told Michelle about this. Don't get me wrong, I have no malice towards David, and I think he's chill for the most part, but David's too bossy, and he's too demanding and ambitious and confrontational. And Michelle's like, oh, thank you for telling me. This is very useful information. But yeah, I'm happy I'm spying for someone. This is surreal. This is like, if it was secondary school now, I don't know why the air vent is not turning off. If it was secondary school now, um, I would be like, oh my god, this is a huge change of events and conspiracies. Like, imagine if one day Natalie asked me to spy on Bean Gang and then report information to her. I would be like, oh my god, it's so exciting. We're like partners in crime. And I would feel so awesome. But now I'm a mature 20-year-old guy. So I'm not as affected by it. But still, it's a really cool thing. And I should be happy about it. And then after talking about all the people, it's my turn to ask her questions. First of all, I predicted. So I'm not the only person Michelle is going to ask, obviously. She's going to ask another person in my film 32 class. And right off the bat, I already knew who. Aoba! Because who else? Who else do you know in that class? So she's like, yep, Aoba. And also Renata, the Brazilian girl. Another thing is Michelle only found out recently that I'm an international student and I'm from Hong Kong. And I said, yeah, my English is too fluent. And she said, oh, but also your mannerisms. I just can't tell that you're not American. I don't know if it's a compliment or not because I actually would rather not have American mannerisms. I don't even think, honestly, being an East Asian, being a Hong Konger, I don't find a huge difference between mannerisms of an American versus a Hong Konger. Maybe it's because I don't even notice mannerisms here in LA at all, because LA is so diverse and so full of people from different cultural backgrounds. I mean, of course, there are certain things that a person in LA could do, but Hong Kongers would never ever do. But I usually just brush it off as exception. Maybe my mannerisms are too within the normal range. Alright, but then my and her conversation continues, and I asked her about Film 33 and how is it going. See, I'm not like, yeah, sure, I'm working for Michelle right now, but I'm also not the, lowly bootlicking worm, I need to gain something from this as well, I know how to play the game. You don't fuck with an East Asian, okay? I have gone through the training I need to know how to, people relationships, like I know what's up, okay? I've gone through my training arc. But yeah, I asked Michelle about Film 33 and there's some pretty interesting information about it. Not super interesting, but somewhat. So yeah, under the Italian professor, the making of the Film 33 short film right now, which is in pre-production, is disastrous because a lot of people bailed. I asked Michelle if there are any people who are salty about the director, because the professor is not directing it. One of the classmates, one of the students will. And a lot of people submit their scripts, a lot of people pitch, but don't get chosen. Only one of them get chosen. Another thing is, when you pitch ideas, don't use an idea that you truly, truly love. Because the thing is, if you get chosen, then the college will own your idea. And if you want to reuse this idea and turn it into a feature film in the future, it's going to be tricky. It's possible, but it's tricky. Michelle said 4 or 5 years ago, there were some short films being made from this college, and now it's in the making to be feature films, and the college is allowing it, but it's still not a good thing, And there's also a lot of confusion in roles. Michelle is technically the second AD and the production coordinator, but she's doing the job of a UPM. Like there's just a lot of mishaps going on in the Film 33 department right now. Alba, the Mexican girl, is the producer. And then I also asked her about the whole DP thing, whether I want to, because I actually ultimately want to be DP for Film 33. Yeah, I'm interested in pitching, but my number one goal is actually to be DP because I want to impress the Indian professor. So Michelle said it'll be useful if I had taken Film 40 before, which I have, thankfully. And also, if the professor knows me, if I have an impression on him, that would be great. So I got it in the bag, boys. No, or kind of. I also told Michelle that David already is developing his film 33 script, and Michelle's like, oh, hell no. So yeah, because of me, David's not going to get a very huge role in 33, if at all. So, oh, I have power. I'm pulling strings on the back. It's like The Godfather. And because of me, Eric will be getting his production designer role, because Eric's also in Film 5, which is film studies, and it's about sci-fi this semester. And then next week, the Indian professor will be subbing the professor, so the Indian professor will meet Eric again for the first time after Film 40 over Zoom. I know all this information, holy shit. And then I told Michelle I know Patrick. Michelle knew already, but she forgot. And she's like, what? How do you know him? And then I told her I also know, Alba. Like, I just know a lot of information for some reason. And it's awesome, really. Okay. But yeah, afterwards I immediately went out, went to Ralph's, bought food, came back, $58. Cooked myself dinner. I had to wait a little while because my Chinese roommate Jacob is cooking his dinner as well. But yeah, I have so much shit to do. So before cooking dinner, I actually took out all the trash, the kitchen trash, and also my trash. And it's amazing because throughout August 16th until today, I never took out the trash in my room. One trash bag is enough to hold more than 2 months worth of trash. And it doesn't stink or anything because if it's like food related trash, I'm throwing it outside, of course. All the stuff here are dry and not food and usually just paper and masks. But yeah. But me throwing at this trash and also my bathroom trash is significant because it really signifies the second half of round 2 has begun. So I've already changed my bedsheet. And I will change my bedsheets once every 2 months. And because round 2 is 4 months long, me changing my bedsheets and changing my trash signifies that it's halfway through already. In fact, it's already more than halfway through because round 2 is going to go from August 16 to December 19 or December 18, and it's almost exactly 2 months. So October 16 is really the halfway point. So we're already crossed the halfway point of round 2, and so much shit has happened. A lot of people want to call me too. The interviewer guy wants to call me. Zara wanted to call me. So Zara's joining a Halloween party. Zara seems to be having a blast. She's carving pumpkins. She's doing little arts and crafts stuff. It's less being an exchange student, more so just being a tourist student, an expat, if you will. But yeah, unfortunately, I will not join any Halloween parties because I don't know that many people who will join. In fact, I don't personally know a single person who will join. If Pepper joins, sure, but Pepper won't. So I guess I'll just join next year. And it's scary because I've never been to a party, an American party before, and I'm really curious how it's like, but also really scared because if you don't remember this, when I was outside the nightclub in Langguai I was so scared. My heart was racing. I wanted to die. I felt like suffocating, and it's horrifying. But going to an American party, the real deal, is going to be a lot worse, and it's so damn adventurous. And if Pepper goes, I want Pepper to bring me the same way I brought Pepper to the HKOS gathering. We rely on each other to live, you know. I and Pepper. Speaking of which, there's a news that there's a huge crowd crush in South Korea, which is horrifying. But let's not talk about that now. Alright, but anyways, I have loads of shit to do. I have homework, I have videos to edit, and I want to watch Misang, and then I want to go to bed earlier tonight because tomorrow I will wake up extremely fucking early. Maybe 5:45 a.m. I don't know, something like that. Because I will be taking an Uber with Pepper to Santa Clarita or Santa Clarita. I don't really know how to pronounce it. And it's exciting because it's the first time I have worked for a feature film, and it's fucking amazing. It's another achievement. So achievement, I made my first short film in LA. Achievement when I received my first camera and lens. Achievement when I worked for someone else's short film. Achievement if I have become DP for the first time, which I hope will happen. Achievement if I see an Arri Alexa Mini in person. Achievement if I work on a feature film for the first time. Lots of achievements to be made, but tomorrow one of the biggest achievements will happen, and it'll also happen alongside Pepper, which is insane. Again, like Pepper's always in the conversation now, because her life is so, like, I wouldn't say extremely, but somewhat intertwined with mine at this point. I and Pepper, we talk to each other on WhatsApp at least once every 2 days. That's tight. I haven't done that with anyone for a long time. Like the last time I've so frequently chatted with someone, it would probably be Leia, back when she was still Leo, and Pink probably. But yeah, it's been a while. Holy shit. I don't have time to do a Duolingo test. I'm sorry, and that's completely fine because I need to do it before November 30th, and I have time. Oh, Alba's Instagramming me. I am so fucking popular. Holy shit. Yeah, Alba asked me how will I go tomorrow. I told her Uber. Apparently Lauren the DP drives her. I just know. But yeah, Alba will be alongside with me tomorrow as well. Again, like when I and Pepper and Alba were standing, like three of us were standing together after film 32 last Wednesday. I didn't feel awesome or anything. I didn't feel like, oh yeah, baby, I'm part of the gang, but I should have, because back in secondary school, this is almost the equivalent of me standing beside Jordana and Natalie during Form 2, back when Jordana was still cool, or maybe me standing beside Natalie and Pink. You know, it should be the equivalent of something like that, where it's like, oh, we are special, you know? But I should be really blessed. You know, I should be really freaking blessed. Again, I'm fine with not going to the Halloween party. Because even if it's not Halloween, just a regular party, like there are tons of regular parties happening. And at some point, maybe Pepper will go to one of them, and if so, then I will go. And I'll make a whole ass video about it. But yeah. And also, the whole, you know, Pepper wants me to help her edit her short film, and I will use Pepper's camera to take photos. That whole thing is gone now. I have my own camera, and Pepper wants to ditch her short film. But that doesn't stop us from working together. You know, we still have several things in our hands right now. But yeah, ultimately, pretty interesting phone call with Michelle. It's amazing how I'm valued. I'm not just a regular classmate. If I'm regular and I'm like doing fine and I have some friends, that's good. But now I'm like a step further. I'm spying for someone. You know, I'm doing a very great job at existing. I want to call my mom and tell her about this, or not all stuff, but you know, it's impressive. It's really impressive. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Tomorrow's gonna be a big day, and yeah. Another thing I want to mention about this anime is that the English subtitles are really wacky, and I know that this anime takes place in the future and people speak with a lot of slang, and there are a lot of underground criminal characters and they all speak in weird terms and slangs, but it's so unnecessarily edgy and unreal that it's actually kind of funny. And I'm not a Japanese expert, obviously, but I can sort of tell that they tried to add slangs in the Japanese lines of this anime, but it's nowhere near as ridiculously slanged up as the English subtitles. All right, I'll be quick. It's 12:13 after midnight. I had like a 40 something minute phone call with my mom. You know, when I talk to my mom about nearly all of the stuff I've been through, I realize like holy shit, 2 weeks, or actually just 1 week has passed and so much shit has come up, like the HKOS, AWFF, my classes, my clubs, being a spy for Michelle, bruh. In the feature film tomorrow, my mom has nothing but bad news for me. Well, not really for me, but about her situation, which makes me feel kind of guilty. Yeah, I mean, I'm in America alone, suffering, but I feel like I've left my family, and my family's just not really going well. My brother is in his, I guess, edgy teenage phase. Not really edgy, just teenage phase. He wouldn't come out of his room. He's arguing with his dad, with my dad, um, and my dad is who it's strange calling him dad in English. But he and my mom went to test their health, like body check, and when my mom told me that, I was already like, no, like, oh no, I'm about to hear something bad. So yeah, my dad's not doing very well. He has high blood glucose, high cholesterol, not enough vitamin D. He's clearly not getting enough sleep. He's overworking himself. He has high blood glucose levels, yet he still eats a lot of sweet foods, even though he was told not to for like years already. And he wouldn't exercise. My brother wouldn't exercise, and the family's not having a happy life, I guess. There's money issues because my tuition fee and my life fee here is already really expensive. My brother's going to be an exchange student, and that's going to cost tons as well. Um, yeah, I feel bad. I feel like an adult now because I don't even worry about, ooh, cool traveling. I mean, I love traveling, but I worry about food and money and climbing up the social ladder, jobs, employment. I worry about those things now, which makes me kind of a mature person, I guess. But yeah, I'm just after graduating school, I must find a job, and a well-paid job at that. I need to provide for my family. It's pretty desperate because my mom's like, even if we sell our apartment, apparently this apartment is government provided, so we can't sell for that much. She can't do mortgage, and that's still not enough. She may have to sell our car as well. Um, yeah. About the feature film, I spoke with Pepper a little bit. I haven't received any email, but apparently Pepper has, and she asked the director the address. I didn't think about asking because why would I? I'm Enoch. Deep inside, I'm still the cowardly loser, I guess. But Pepper asked, and Pepper has the address now, and yeah, it's even farther away from Santa Clarita. It's like in a place called Kazake. Um, so yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. So time now is 4:16 a.m. in the morning. I have to wake up on 6:30. I wanted to sleep earlier, but I cannot. Instead, I slept extra fucking late. Why? It's not my fault. It is, of course, Cindy's fault. She's cooking a fucking cuisine again, and she's scrolling through TikTok for a whole fucking hour. I told her to shut up twice already, and she wouldn't listen. She just wants me to suffer. That's her agenda. Alright, time now is 6:40 a.m. I feel so alive. I feel so fucking rejuvenated. Woo! I slept for 2 hours. So yeah, I went to bed at 3:05, which is already kind of late. You know, yikes. I wish I could have gone earlier. But to make matters worse, I didn't fall asleep at 3:05. I fell asleep at 4:30 a.m. Yes, make it worse. Why? Because Cindy fucking hates me. Today, out of all days, out of all the days, she had to choose today at 3:30 a.m. to randomly come out to the kitchen and cook her favorite fucking dish. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. I don't even know if it's Cindy or not, because I know the other guy also cooks food very late, but oh my god, I came out and I was like, I couldn't handle it, okay? I stormed out of my room and I said, I have to wake up in 3 hours. And of course it's Cindy. Who else would it be? And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, fine. She's gonna finally get quiet now, right? So I went back to bed. No, it doesn't get any quiet because she sniffs very loud, she cooks very loud, and then she watches TikTok for like the next 40 minutes. She just scrolls through TikTok or something. So I yelled. So that's 3:30, and then at around 3:50 I yelled, "Cindy!" on my bed. I almost fell asleep, but of course she and her TikTok noises. And then at 4:30, 4:15, I went out again. I went outside of my room again, and Cindy's just on a seat, just scrolling through the phone. And then she's almost like surprised. Whoa, why are you still awake? Bro, of course. You're playing fucking TikTok. You're the boss? You're I guess the owner of this apartment now because you can wake up whenever you want and disturb everyone's sleep. Just because your sleep schedule is fucked doesn't mean mine have to be fucked. But now yours is fucked, making mine completely fucked as well. So I couldn't fall asleep until 4:30. I wanted to go to bed earlier, but Cindy just had to make it worse. And out of all days, Cindy could have done that tonight, and I would be fucking pissed, but less, because tomorrow is less important. She had to pick today! And then on top of that, I went back to bed. And then I went out for the third fucking time because she turned up the aircon to fucking 80 fucking degrees. Like it's a tropical jungle. See how energized I am? I'm so energized. I slept for 2 fucking hours. It's my first day on set in a feature film. And my hair looks like shit. I already tried to fix it with a lot of water. Holy fuck. Holy fuck, this is amazing. 80 fucking degrees. She kept changing it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. I made it 68 degrees. Very specifically, she came out, she's, oh, it's too cold. And then she bumped it to 72. Fine. But now I gotta sleep. 68. Oh, 80. 80. I can't fucking sleep in that shit. Okay, so last night was kind of hectic. Because right before bed, I remembered I have tons of stuff to do. I brought out my COVID test. I also did some of the laundry partially because at 1 a.m. I suddenly realized I ran out of underwear. So I need to immediately wash them and immediately dry them. So right now they're dried, waiting for me. And I charged my mobile charger, and at around 1:30, at around 1 a.m. Pepper ordered the Uber. I had an awful sleep. I hope you know what? I would have had a great sleep. I just woke up. And I would have looked amazing. Now my hair looks like a fucking upside down boat. It actually looks good nowadays if I'd gone a full sleep, because I think like if I sleep against the pillow, it sort of crushes my hair in a way, but now it don't, because Cindy fucking hates me. 2 hours just to ruin my day. Good job. She was so shocked. Oh, what? I was just like, I don't know, cooking a meal, 3 a.m. Why would you wake up? Oh my god. I hope my shouts wake her up. I want her to suffer the way I do. But yeah. Fuck. I hope at least Pepper has a great sleep, because I didn't. And I'm happy I'm seeing Pepper. The outside sky is still very dark. And, I want to die. Alright, I forgot to mention what I'm gonna do today. So today, at 8:30, the call time, I and Pepper will arrive at a place super far away outside of Los Angeles, a place called Kazake, which is somewhere in Santa Clarita, even farther, because I and Pepper are going to work on our first feature films of our lives. And that's one of the greatest achievements for a film student. And Aoba and Lauren, the DP, will be there. And I have to do a COVID test now. It's 7:04. I don't know what the fuck. How the fuck does this COVID test even fucking work? The test strip is really just a strip. Oh, Pepper's arrived. It's not working. Why is it not working? I am fucking hell. I packed my stuff in a small bag. I don't even have fucking time for breakfast. I ate one cookie. I'm preparing another cookie. Oh. Okay. Thank you. So fucking cold.
So we should run it for sound? Are we good? Oh, that's cool.
Is that he's in a group and then he walks over to her. There's no real way to shoot it with static close-ups.
Because I didn't want to get this direction. All right, time now is 9:02 p.m. I have made it back home about 20 minutes ago, and wow, another intriguing day. I'd say today is another contender for best day of the year. If it weren't for the absolutely horrible 2 hour sleep I had because of my lovely roommate, who is currently watching a movie outside in the apartment right now in the living room with a dude, with a white guy, another guy I've never seen before. So that is fantastic. Let's go. But aside from that, today has proven to be quite an adventure. Man, I've always wanted to have adventures um, in Los Angeles with someone, but I don't have someone, but now I do. I adventured twice with Pepper. Once in Whittier in late September, and once just today in a place called Castaic, or it's not even like Maine Castaic. It's somewhere in the middle between Santa Clarita and Castaic, and it's super freaking far away. So I woke up unwillingly, sadly, frustratedly at 6:30 a.m. I packed up all my stuff. I got my water bottle ready. I got my hand moisturizing cream ready. I got my portable charger ready, which I've not used at all, not once. And I'm ready to go. I'm ready to shuffle. I ate one cookie, and I packed the other cookie in a piece of paper towel, and I just went out. Pepper's Uber arrived quite early, and at around 7 a.m., the Uber has arrived, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go. Around 7:10. There's that. So I left, and I was quite pissed in the morning, as you can probably tell. So I went and went to the Uber. And there she is. That's Pepper, and there's a long-haired white guy as the Uber driver. It's more like it's a Lyft driver, not an Uber driver. And yeah, and then that's it. We went there, and I wanted to fall asleep on the car, but of course I cannot, because I'm bad at sleeping. I and Pepper, we talked a little bit, I guess. But we stayed silent for the most part, I guess. I don't know. I was just too tired. And then we have arrived in that place about 30 something, 35 minutes later. We arrived super early. So our call time was actually 8:30 a.m., but we arrived at around like 7:40, so we were pretty fucking early. Yeah, 7:45 ish. So right off the bat, we're dropped off in the middle of nowhere in some suburban neighborhood, and we looked at the map. When we went to Whittier, it was like, man, this place is like at the middle of nowhere, but it wasn't actually middle of nowhere. It's sort of a city, kind of. But yeah, this is truly middle of nowhere. Like, it's just nothing but houses. So I and Pepper were like, Pepper was like, you know what? We have time. We can go eat breakfast. So I'm like, sure. So we got off the car, and oh my god, it's fucking cold. I don't think I've ever experienced such cold in California before. It felt like 9 degrees Celsius. It was truly like bone cutting cold. It was like Seattle cold. It's like back in Seattle, when it was snowing. Back earlier this year, last year in December when I was in Seattle for traveling, it was that, and it was really cold. I zipped up my jacket. Pepper zipped up my jacket, and it's just us two, like sort of muffled, not muffled. I don't know what's the word. Like snuck, like tucked in. Just two little idiots just walking in the middle of nowhere, somewhere super far away that I and Pepper have never even been to. And we just walked for about 11 minutes to arrive at this outlet, not really outlet, like this chain place where it's just a bunch of places chained together, like Starbucks. So we went to Starbucks, and I actually ordered a hot cup of white chocolate mocha, which is actually quite nice. I actually enjoyed it a lot. and then I ordered Pepper ordered an Americano, and then Pepper's really into coffee, and then I ordered and then we went to Jack in the Box. I've never had Jack in the Box before in my life. Today's the first time. And it's also Pepper's first time. So Pepper ordered a cheeseburger and it's only like 2.4 something dollars, 2.9. I ordered an ultimate breakfast burger, which is even less impressive. It's super flat. It's nothing but a slice of stale cheese, stale meat, and some ketchup and one pickle. And it's like 5 point something dollars. And that's it. But yeah, I totally didn't expect to buy that anyways. But it's good. It's nutritious breakfast. Nutritious. So I finished that. I finished my cookie. I drank the coffee. We walked back, and it was awesome. You know, I wasn't like super energetic, obviously, but I wasn't that tired and sleepy either. And yeah, I and Pepper, we talked about many things on the way. I can't count how much stuff, because we were basically together today for more than 12 hours again. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, last Wednesday we were also kind of together for less than 12 hours, but almost, you know. Um, and then yeah, so we went back to the spot, and we are still the earliest. And then a little bit later, the director showed up out of nowhere, a white woman. And then a few more people showed up. Aoba showed up in Lauren's sports car, fancy sports car, and then we proceeded to do stuff. I've quickly finished the burger, and Pepper, for some reason our orders got mixed up, or we just grabbed our bags wrong, but I had Pepper's cheeseburger and Pepper had my breakfast burger, and I almost bit into Pepper's burger, and then Pepper already bit into my burger, and Pepper's like, wait, hold on. So Pepper's like, just switch. So I'm like, okay, fine. So we switched. And Pepper's like, well, just don't eat the part that I have bitten. So I didn't, because I am a gentleman and I am not sick in the head. But Aoba saw it, and Aoba's like, you're eating Pepper's burger? And I'm like, oh no, Pepper accidentally ate mine. And she's like, oh, it's just this really weird moment. But yeah, anyways, we helped out with moving some stuff into the apartment, not really apartment, the house, more like the backyard of the house. That's where we spent the entire day at, the backyard of the house. And then we moved stuff there, and I was introduced to a few people. Apparently, this is a really small crew. This is even though this is the first time I've worked on a feature film, this crew is even smaller than the number of people who worked for Aoba in Aoba's short film. Like, this is even fewer people. There's this bald guy who has who looks like your average redneck Republican, but he's actually kind of a nice dude. You know, he has a hat and he has one of those really silly 2000s American sunglasses with pointy edges. But actually, he's really nice and funny and humble. And he's the first AD, and he gave me the script supervisor forms that I had to fill in for every single take we do. So I basically did that, and it was actually kind of simple, kind of fun, kind of nice. I thought Pepper's going to do makeup, but apparently Pepper's chosen to be set decorator or set designer or production designer or whatever, because she's basically the entire art department. She manages all the props, all the building stuff, and it's not a lot. There's not a lot of buildings, so today for most of the day, Pepper has nothing to do. And then there's the sound guy who looks like fat Jason Momoa. So he's the sound guy. He manages all the boom operating and sound mixing, everything. And then there's Lauren, the DP, who isn't exactly the DP here. We don't really have a DP. Lauren is the camera man. He has the cameras. He's always with the cameras. He also pulls focus, but then he also works with the gaffer, aka the grip, aka the best boy, aka the electrician, William, the Taiwanese man, who is very quiet and who's also very experienced. Like, throughout the day, whenever William, the Taiwanese guy, builds a light I was like, whoa, damn. Because I always have trouble lighting my scenes, and even if my scene looks good, it doesn't look actually acceptable, like commercially acceptable. And there are a lot of moments that's like, oh, the sun is too strong and too bright and it's creating silhouette. The actors are standing at an awkward angle where the light is only like at a side. How are we going to solve this lighting issue? How are we going to solve that lighting issue? And William, the Taiwanese guy, seems to know how to solve every lighting issue ever. And he looks back and forth from the monitor to like the lights he's using, and I always look at the monitor and then look at him and look back and forth, trying to see what he's doing, and I always can't figure out. I just cannot conceive of what he's doing. And Aoba said he's very masterful. It's true, he is very masterful. And he and Lauren are basically the DPs. Like, they basically decide what shots and the lighting and everything, and then where, and like they're basically the DPs combined. And Aoba also help out with some of the grip work from time to time, because Aoba looks up to William, the Taiwanese man, as almost a beacon of inspiration. This is why Aoba chose to be gaffer again for the second time for next Wednesday's film 32, because Aoba is inspired by him. So that's really interesting. There's a chance Aoba may end up being a gaffer in the future, which is a little sad. I want to see Aoba write and direct, or just direct. Apparently Aoba isn't interested in writing all that much. Yeah. There's that. And then and then that's pretty much it. And there's the actors who I don't know very well, but there's a black guy, there's another black guy, there's a big white guy with huge arms, there's another white woman with black hair, there's another old white guy. Those are the actors, and that's it. That's our entire crew. So we settled down in the backyard of the place, the porch of the house, and there were dogs there, and they're huge, but they're nice. They don't bark at all. But the thing is, they poop, and their poop are left somewhere at the side of the porch, and that attracted a lot of flies. So throughout the entire 12-hour shoot of the day, flies, or 11-hour shoot of the day, flies were attacking us non-stop. Like, flies were coming onto my face, onto my ear, onto my arms, and they're freaking everywhere, which is super annoying. I tried swatting them, I tried scaring them away. I'm very observant, so I look at flies. I notice when a tiny black thing like suddenly fly by, I'm like, oh fuck, that's a fly. So yeah, I'm just like attacking, like fighting back, But yeah, that's pretty much it. And everyone's quite nice. The Jason Momoa looking guy and the bald first AD guy, whose name is Matt. They're both really nice, and they joked around with me and Pepper as well, making the whole situation feel comfortable. So the story of this feature film, I actually don't know. I know what scenes we've shot. I have the script of the scenes that we shot today. But it's this comedy rom-com about the pandemic, and it's about an actress and a director having a romantic relationship, or two actors having a romantic relationship, or something like that, under the context that there's a COVID pandemic. Especially, except the script doesn't mention COVID at all, because it wants to be, kind of vague, like, ooh, what if it's not COVID, But it's like a comedy. It's a low-key, low-contrast, characters dropping one-liners, like very American-type humor, like Marvel-type humor, which is the exact opposite of what I love. But I still gave my best, I still did my script supervising work, and it's really fun. I also got to see Lauren, the DP, pull out cool lenses. He has a Sigma 18 to 35 DC lens, and then later on today he pulled out a Rokinon aka Samyang 85 millimeter, which is also very epic indeed. Yeah, I got a lot of chance today to just speak to Aoba alone, or with Pepper and Aoba. Yeah, so the bald guy, the bald first AD, he also knows quite a bit about Hong Kong, surprisingly. He, like, after I and Pepper mentioned that we're both from Hong Kong, he mentioned, oh, like, do you guys protest against China? And then he also, like, knows that, oh, right, you guys speak Cantonese, right? And that's different from Mandarin. Oh, because even Aoba doesn't know that until recently. Um, so there's that. But yeah, and then, but he's still an American at the end of the day. So when he spoke with Aoba, he's like, oh yeah, you're Japanese. And Japanese is close with Korean, right? And then Aoba's like, nope, Korean is like an alien language to me. And later on, I asked Aoba about Japanese dialects. And Aoba's like, I asked Aoba if she can do a Hokkaido accent. And she said she can't because there is no accent. There is no Hokkaido dialect. And I'm like, what? And then she said, oh, there's a dialect south in like Osaka. And I'm like, oh, that's Kansai dialect, right? And she's like, yeah. And then I said, I thought the more northeast you go, the more dialects there are. And Aoba's like, oh, there's a prefecture right below Hokkaido who speaks a dialect that is not even Japanese anymore. It's so confusing. I believe she's referring to the Aomori dialect. But it's weird that Hokkaido doesn't have a dialect. And Aoba's from the north of the very north of the very north. Like, she lives primarily on an island north of Hokkaido, so not exactly like mainland Hokkaido, like Wakanai. She didn't say Wakanai, but like even further up. But she also goes around Hokkaido a little bit, I guess. But yeah, that's really interesting. And she's the only Hokkaidan she knows. Even though she knows probably every single Japanese student in the college and outside right now, but she's probably the only Hokkaidan to ever exist in Los Angeles. Oh man. So that's very interesting. But yeah, Pepper flexed her Japanese a little bit. Oh, it's Clarita. And then like, hajimemashite. And I also flex a little bit, like, yoroshiku. I don't know if Aoba, I want to ask Aoba if she's like surprised that so many people in the USA and so many people around the world in general just likes speaking Japanese and knows Japanese phrases and terms for no reason whatsoever other than the fact that we're all fucking weebs. But then nobody knows Cantonese. People know Ni Hao, but that's not fucking Cantonese. That's Mandarin. You've been tricked. So, yeah. And then Pepper taught the bald first AD guy, Diu Lei Lo Mo, which is fuck your mom in Cantonese. And Pepper said, oh, it's a greeting when you greet your friends. And the guy actually remembered it. And by the end of the day, the guy said it back to us, and it's hilarious. So yeah, there's that. Not much else. And by not much else, I mean a lot else. So we have, again, really tiring, but also really relaxing, I guess. Like, it's, even though this is the first time I worked on a feature film, it's not high stakes, high pressure feature film. The director, the white woman, is very calm and collected, and she doesn't seem to be super experienced either. So for every shot, it always takes a long ass time between every single scene and between takes. It always takes a lot of time. It took 2 hours just to set up the whole lighting system, and there's so much like confusion going on. It's not terrible. It's still one of the better sets I've ever worked on. It's not that I've worked on that many sets anyways. But it's actually kind of similar with shooting with Aoba, except this time the people are a lot more professional, especially William, the Taiwanese guy. Like, he has a whole plethora of Fresnel lights and LED lights and diffusers and C-stands, all from him for some reason, like cables and stingers and light stands and everything, and sandbags. He has them all, and he's like an expert in doing all of them. Monitors, he has a whole bucket of color temperature gels. He's freaking insane. So yeah. And the boom mic looks amazing. Not amazing, but like the dead cat looks professional. The script supervising forms is kind of professional. The whole setup is more professional than anything I've ever done, but there's still a laid back vibe. Like there's no demand of oh, you gotta do this and do that. I try to help out, but sometimes I'm just relaxed. I just sit down because I'm tired as hell. All right. It wasn't until 4 p.m. when we actually had our lunch, which is I had a double taco from Cafe Rio. The bald first AD guy and Pepper walked to this place to pick up our meals. We ordered it online, and mine was a shredded pork taco and a shredded beef taco with lettuce and rice and black beans, like Oaxaca black beans, and then the other kind of brown beans. And it's really filling. It's a huge freaking meal. It's a lot of calories. It's really filling. It's 9:24 p.m. right now, and I'm not even hungry for dinner. And yeah, we had lunch at 4 p.m., so that's kind of why. Yeah, it was kind of a mess. It was all over the place. My hands are dirty. We don't have a table, so we just use our own laps to eat. And it's fine. It's not a huge meal, but what can you expect, So there's that. Pepper only ordered one taco, and then Alba ordered some nachos, some beef nachos. Yeah, everyone ate a bit, and then I was the last one to finish it because I was so focused on swatting flies. And then we continued. And here's the thing: we always run out of time. So this is actually the fourth day of the shoot. So there have been 3 days already. Alba and Lauren, the DP, has worked for this woman for 3 days already. Today's the fourth day, and they always run out of time. And today, before we start to shoot, the director's like, today we're only going to do 5 pages, so we should have enough time. We have until 7 p.m. And guess what? We ran out of time because we just took so much time. And the sun was setting, and we're all like confused. Some of the shots were like not really well done because it's clear that it's sunset. And yeah. Especially near the end when the sun truly set and suddenly it's become super cold again. And we almost gave up. At one point we even shot a shot that's night for day, which is very desperate. And then at the end we just gave up. Suddenly sprinklers splashed, turned on, and it splashed the cameras and the lights, and we're all like panicked. I dropped whatever I had in my hand. I was holding a tent. We had built a tent for the crafty table, and we were tearing it down, and then suddenly the sprinklers turned on, and I had to rush to one of the lights to just unplug it and switch it off. And my pants were all wet. My arm was wet. It was kind of hectic, and it was all dark. When all the lights turned off, it was pure darkness, because unlike Hong Kong, especially American suburbs don't really have street lights, or they have, but it's really scarce, so it's really pure darkness. So we had to switch on our phone flashlights. It was kind of hectic, kind of fun, kind of dirty and wet, kind of not pleasant, but definitely very interesting. And then we just gave up. We just pack our bags, and in about 45 minutes, we just packed up everything. We cleaned up, and we just left. And throughout the whole day, I and Pepper also wanted to speak to the Taiwanese guy, because the closest thing to Hong Kong culture is like Taiwanese culture and Chinese culture, and we just got to speak to a Taiwanese guy. And we don't know any Taiwanese people working in film in LA. Like, he's the only one we know so far. Until at the very end, Pepper walked up to... we had plenty of opportunities, but both I and Pepper were like, maybe let's not speak to him now. But at the very end, when we were cleaning up, Pepper walked up to the Taiwanese guy and was like, hey, are you from Taiwan? And he's like, oh yeah. And Pepper's like, oh, we can speak Mandarin. And then just boom. Originally, throughout the whole day, the Taiwanese guy was very quiet, but suddenly he's just boom. He's kind of happy and talkative suddenly. And he also asked me and Pepper, he didn't ask, but he's like, oh, hold this, And I also responded with some Mandarin. I want to be confident. I think part of the part of the process of being good at a language is to be confident simply. Like, yeah, I may sound bad, but at least I say it first. So I did say something and it's fine for some reason. So yeah, that's really nice. And then the guy apparently studied film in Taiwan and then came to the US and studied master's degree and then just went out with an OTP and started working in the film industry. That's it. Um, and he said, contrary to what Tommy the Macanese guy said, Macanese culture is closest to Hong Kong culture, but might as well, Macanese culture and Hong Kong culture is just might as well the same thing. But yeah, Tommy the Macanese guy was like, oh, master's degree is actually more important than bachelor's, but this Taiwanese guy was like, no, it's the same, it doesn't matter. Um, yeah. I and Aoba and Pepper chatted a lot about like school as well. I don't want to tell everyone about the whole Michelle asked me to be a spy situation, but given that I know Michelle will look for Aoba, I asked Aoba if Michelle has called her yet. She hasn't. But it'll happen. And then I vaguely told Pepper, not about the spying. I mean, I did tell Pepper that I did some spying, but in a very vague way. But I mainly told Pepper about some tips about Film 33 that is sort of classified, that only I know because Michelle told me, which makes me quite a powerful person, if you will. Damn, I came so far. Anyways, yeah, wow, I guess let's just talk about the star of the show today. Is there anything more I can add about me, Pepper, and Aoba, us three? I'm just glad that this is happening. Like, this dream come true. Like, back in March, I'm like, oh man, there's a Japanese girl in our film program, what the heck? And she knows Pepper, and I also want to get along with Pepper, and I also want to know this Japanese girl. And then, guess what? At the end of October, us three are working together and we're chatting together. And, yeah. We also had the opportunity to teach Aoba a little bit of Cantonese. Like, Aoba asked Pepper how to say tired in Cantonese, and that's good because it's kind of unfair if a lot of Hong Kongers are like, you have Japanese, blah, 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 but then not a single Japanese person cares about Cantonese. That's a hyperbole, but you get the idea. Like, certain languages, I wouldn't say overhyped. I just want to say there needs to be hype for other languages as well, you know? So that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, and I also asked Alba about the weather. I asked Alba if Japan is drier than LA, and Alba said Hokkaido and LA pretty much have similar weather, except Hokkaido snows very heavily. And then I said, well, Hong Kong's really wet, and I was putting moisturizing cream on my hand because like I cannot handle this dryness. I just cannot. And Pepper can. Pepper told me that her hands are always moist. If you say it in Cantonese, it doesn't sound that weird, but yeah. But yeah, throughout the whole day, I got to be an extra at some point. Everyone got to be an extra at some point, because the location today is actually a film set. Like the film set is the film set. Like for period films, the film set would be a castle or a palace or something. In a sci-fi film, the film set would be a spaceship. But today's film set is a film set, so which is kind of convenient. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now here comes the equally as important, equally as interesting details of what happened afterwards. At around 7:40, I and Pepper we ordered Uber together. Pepper ordered I'm going to pay her later. Um yeah, so $46, so 23 per person. I and Pepper went back to our respective residential places here. And we got to sit in a car together and have some private chat again, which is something that I definitely look forward to. And wow, I really popped off. So even before that, I feel like Pepper's. Again, I'm gonna try to be vague about this. Actually, I'm gonna try my best to not talk too much about this because I feel like I'm beginning to enter sort of a territory um, that I do not want to discuss as much. But then maybe I'm just overthinking. Speaking of overthinking, today I and Pepper I told Pepper that I have decided to change my DM Post 3 to Photography 1 and 2 classes next semester. And then I, Pepper, and Alba will coordinate, and us three will somehow get into the same class together. Hopefully. Um, and then when Pepper heard me talking about this, Pepper said I gaogi too much, which is just a way of saying I overthink too much. And I mean, again, I don't mind being called out like that. In fact, it builds character, so that's good. Um, but I do a lot of overthinking. That's like my thing, you know. Um, so yeah, that's that. But I feel like I don't want to be known to Pepper for just being this. I want to be known as someone who's even more interesting to her, you know. But yeah, truly, like Pepper's so much more like, I guess, trustworthy now. Like, I am trustworthy to her, and she is trustworthy to me. Like, I would be playing with my script supervisor board, my clipboard with the paper, and Pepper would just take it from me, not like in a violent way, but she just puts out her hand, and I just give it to her. Like, I know what she's thinking, and she would just play around with it, and she would give it to me back, and she wouldn't say a word. Like, that's, yeah, yeah. Imagine this kind of shit happening in April this year, you know. Let's stand. Man, Cindy's blasting aircon now. Another thing is wow. So Pepper like kicks me. No, she doesn't kick me. She air kicks me. You know, she just like "Hua, I'm gonna kick you," and doesn't kick me. It's sort of like a joke. And that's awesome because again, imagine something like this happening in April. Imagine doing this to someone you barely know. Like, "Ha, I kick you." Like, it's so silly, but Pepper's fine doing it to me because it's fine because I'm trustworthy. Another thing is she took photos of me and sent it to me. She just pulled out her phone and was like, "Oh, stand there." And there was a light behind me, so she was taking a photo of my silhouette, and she's like, "Angle it like that." Like, whoa, you know? I don't know, this feels wrong, but at the same time, this feels right. Like, I feel like Pepper shouldn't trust me this much, but then at the same time, I think I earned it rightfully. Like, I like my relationship with Pepper, even though not much happened between us, honestly, it feels like it's been a roller coaster of like, we didn't even argue or anything, but like, there have been a couple times I was truly like, okay, I will never befriend Pepper ever again. But then this comes on, and it's quite interesting, you know. But yeah, I was sort of right when I said Pepper knowing that I have a YouTube channel would somehow bring me closer to her. Like I lie less, or I keep secrets less in front of her now. And she randomly told me that she thinks her wisdom teeth is growing out. Again, imagine her telling me this in April. Would never happen. Yeah, so anyways, we hopped onto the Uber ride, and I was super freaking tired and dirty. I was my entire body was touched with flies, same for Pepper. And I wanted to talk to Pepper more, but I'm also really tired, and I see that Pepper's tired, so we didn't talk much. Pepper wanted to listen to music, as I had expected. So Pepper asked the driver. So the driver's this Spanish-speaking woman, a Latina, and I asked her, and she's like, no. Pepper's like, oh, I want to listen to music, and Pepper put on like earbuds. So, bro, she's self-isolating from me. What the fuck? Don't do that, please. That sucks. So I'm like, why don't we listen to the music together in the car? And she's like, well, ask the driver. So I'm like, fine. So I actually asked the driver, and the driver's like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak much English, and she thought I was talking about the address, like, oh, the address is wrong, and I'm like, no, it's fine. And then she said, oh, you speak Espanol, and then at the end, I was like, okay, I need to figure this out. So I formulated a sentence in my head, and I said, ella quiere escuchar música, which means she wants to listen to music. Grammatically correct too. And she's like, oh, like the driver's like, oh, and then when Pepper heard me saying this, she was like, oh, like it was such a shocking twist moment, and it was so unprecedented as well. And I hate doing this. I hate like showing off, but this is truly a moment where I have to show off, and it's the only acceptable moment. It's when asking for an Uber driver for an aux cord, but the Uber driver speaks Spanish well and not very well in English. Like I truly like showed off my linguistic abilities to Pepper. And another thing Pepper said was, so earlier today I was like, I mentioned like how much I'm angry with my roommate, and I said no. But no is the correct pronunciation for being angry in Cantonese, but a lot of Hong Kongers say lau, which is the lazy way to pronounce it. And Pepper said me pronouncing it correctly makes me less of a Hong Konger. But then later today during the Uber ride, Pepper did say that my Cantonese is fine, which is huge relief. I don't think it's that fine. Like, there are a lot of slang terms that I don't use. I understand, but I don't use. But because I don't use them a lot, I don't feel as Hong Kong, you know. But yeah, Pepper was truly like, wow, impressed, like deeply impressed with the idea that I somehow busted Spanish out of nowhere. And it's awesome too because it's clear that like, even though I haven't studied Japanese, like just by watching anime and VTubers and listening to Japanese music alone, like I know more Japanese than a lot of other people. Like a lot of people only know watashi no namae wa, but you don't even say that. You just say your name desu, you know? And I don't know why Alba never questioned me, like, oh, why do you know about Kansai dialect? You know, why do you know about otaku culture? Like, you should know this stuff. But yeah, that's that. But yeah, I and Pepper ended up listening to music together, and then I never used Spanish again. Like and because I don't really know how to say, can you quiet down the volume? So I just said in English, and I said, can you more quiet? And the driver was like, okay. Like when I speak to Alba, I also use sort of broken English, like slightly broken, just so that she could understand me better. And I think that's totally fine because I'm not supposed to be good at English. So I'm not dumbing down in an offensive way. I'm dumbing down because I can, you know. But yeah, you know, again, back to the Uber ride with me and Pepper. We listened to. I asked Pepper if I could play my music. Pepper's like, no. Okay, fine. And Pepper looked at the window for a while, and I looked out the window, and we were kind of chill. But then I and Pepper started talking again, which is freaking awesome. And it doesn't feel like Pepper's tired and doesn't want to talk. Pepper's actually like fine with talking. And I wanted to really get personal with her. Like I know I already know a bit of her personal life, but I feel like there should be more to it, you know. Not really personal, but I want to know what sort of movie ideas she has, because I told her about, you know, how I want to do epic period pieces, like epic Chinese history period piece, 3.5 hours long. I told Pepper about how I wanted to make a 1950s Hong Kong neo-noir film. I actually told Pepper about The Virgin, which is something that I'm kind of proud of, and I'm sure as hell not a single guy would tell Pepper or tell another girl about a story idea called The Virgin. But I just have the balls. Um, and Pepper also told me that she's confident that she has creative movie ideas, but she doesn't really reveal them much to me. But she's confident about that. She thinks she's creative, which is good. I like that. Another thing is she also texts Connor, the Macanese guy, a lot, who is like the only other person I could think of. If Pepper one day suddenly told me that, oh, I actually have a crush on another guy, fuck you, the first person I would think of is Connor, the Macanese guy, because they're like texting each other over Instagram, like voice chatting. Even during the shoot, Pepper even showed me not their text, but like the Macanese guy being confused about the film major requirements of my college, and sent like a photo to Pepper, and Pepper asked me about it. So I don't know. But regardless, if this is, again, I've said this many times, but if this is the extent of my and Pepper's friendship, I'm already really fucking grateful. Like I met Pepper around the same time Thomas met Pepper. And where did Thomas go? You know, I don't want to talk shit about people, but I told Pepper about how I almost argued with Thomas a couple times because of the scriptwriting club meeting, and how Thomas, at the end of the day, has this really not cool attitude. But Pepper and I, our relationship gets better and better every time we see each other. And then again, my life is so intertwined with her. So it's not like, oh, today is amazing, it just happened, but then maybe I'll never see her again. And that's not fucking true. I'll see her again this Wednesday. I'll literally see her again 4 days later. I'm a genius. I'll see Alba again 4 days later. Whatever, screw it, you know? And then also we'll talk about HKOS, and we'll meet each other again somehow. It's like locked, you know? And then the Asian World Film Festival, like holy shit. Yeah. I and Pepper talked about music a little bit. I told Pepper that the first time I cried to a song, it's Street Spirit Fade Out, and Pepper actually liked the song in Spotify. Holy shit. She respects my opinion. But yeah, Pepper likes a lot of music, and Pepper's like, oh, I know you wouldn't like this kind of music. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like it. Because it's very like basic, like pop music, basic American pop. But yeah, at some point we talked about My Little Airport, and Pepper was like, oh, I feel like the only band or artist we can agree on that they're great is My Little Airport. And I'm like, and then Pepper's like, oh, even you probably don't like My Little Airport as much. And I'm like, I cheekily said, fuck you, you know, back to Pepper. Because Pepper does that to me all the time, you know, just fuck you, you know, in a joking way. And then Pepper's like, whoa, you just swore. But that's weird because I always swear in front of Pepper. In fact, I feel the need to swear more in front of Pepper now because Pepper just swears so much. I don't think I've ever met a girl who swears this much. or at least a girl who's friends with me, you know. And Alba also called me and Pepper her friends, like when someone's asked Alba about me and Pepper, and Alba's like, oh, they're both my friends. Oh, I got friend named again. Oh my god, I'm amazing. I'm a genius. I'm a genius. Ooh. But yeah, But yeah, Pepper, because I don't come off really like a Hong Konger. Like I don't have that cheeky, sarcastic "fuck you" energy. Like when Pepper asked Connor if there are movie theaters in Macau, Connor's like, "Well then, ask yourself this: Are there movie theaters in Africa?" Like in a cheeky sort of "fuck you" counter argument way, kind of sarcastic. But I don't speak like that because again, I don't socialize a lot. Back in secondary school, I'm kind of stuck at home kind of guy, so I don't get to absorb a lot of Hong Kong culture. But I feel like I'm absorbing a lot more right now in LA, unironically somehow, because I'm meeting people like Pepper, and I'm at least being associated with the church folk as well. I feel like Pepper's going to make me even more of a Hong Konger, and my involvement with HKOS will probably make me even more of a Hong Konger now, which is really good. But yeah. I don't know. There are things I would like to say to Pepper, I guess, but it doesn't matter because again, 4 days later I'll see her again. Fuck it. Yeah. Yeah. So again, I'll emphasize this, and that is, even if this is the extent of my and Pepper's friendship, and it doesn't go anywhere beyond that, I'm fine with it, sorta. Like, it's already amazing. Like, I try to think of another person who is this close to me, um, under this context, and I can't really find someone. Like, of course, I was close with Cedric at one point, like really close. But I was still a child who was kind of immature. But when it comes to living, you know, again, like Pepper would randomly ask me questions. Like Pepper asked me if I would thought pit hey, which is like rage, because Pepper legit wants to know how I am when I rage, which is cool. I like it when people imagine me doing unspeakable things. It's so bad. But yeah, Pepper told me how she kind of raged when she was moving that table for the cutting edge for film 32, and how her roommate wanted to help her but broke something. Yeah, and I feel like Pepper does know and is really aware that I am, I don't, okay, I'm not going to judge because there are tons of people in the world, but I am the kind of guy who you would want to have a very personal and weird conversation with, because I also come off like that, and I'm that kind of guy. I overthink things, and I'm very sentimental, and I'm very like thinking, kind of person, which is entirely different from what Connor the Macanese guy offers. But I still look terrible. Like I have acne here. My hair looks like a helmet. But that doesn't really stop Pepper from being like, "Oh fuck, you look ugly, so I'm not gonna talk to you." Didn't really happen. So yeah, holy shit. Holy shit. 2022 is coming up to be the best year of my life. Really is. Okay, final remarks, I guess. Let's just talk about what am I gonna do for the rest of the day. It's like 10 p.m. now. I don't know what to eat for dinner, honestly. I'll eat something really, really tiny. Just a little bit of rice, a little bit of vegetables, a little bit of pork. That's it. I'm out. I'll go to bed. I'll go to bed like 2 a.m. today. Fuck it. 2 a.m. Oh, and then I have to watch Ring. Right, so I need to remember that. But yeah, aside from that, today's amazing. Today really is amazing. It is an achievement. There was a moment that I and Pepper and Alba chatted a lot that the director, the white woman, was like, "Oh, you three are extras," but aside from that, we all like gave our best, you know. And I did feel like a newbie at first, but turns out I do know quite a bit about filmmaking after all, like just enough to keep me going as a newcomer. Um, yeah, and it's awesome that Pepper gets to experience this too, you know. I and Pepper, we went into this simultaneously without knowing that each other did it. I brought Pepper to HKOS. Pepper brought me to the Asian World Film Festival. Our resumes are probably super duper freaking similar now. But that's one of Pepper's concern, and that is like between me and Pepper, I would get into USC more because my GPA is higher, but our resumes are super similar. I don't know. I guess the most ideal scenario, I'm always thinking about the future. Let's not think about that because it's depressing. But if Pepper doesn't get into UCLA, which is very highly likely, and I don't get into it, which is also very highly likely, not as high as Pepper not getting into it though, I hope we both get into USC. And Alba gets in there, and our story continues. The freaking trio or something. Can we call ourselves a name now? Yeah, we should give ourselves a name. We're like the trio. Sheesh. 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 Oh man, Thomas could never. I have no idea that it's possible that someone is like lower than me. Like I don't want to sound evil or like mean, but Thomas really isn't aggressive and as like as me right now. I am like a beast. I am like a beast. And oh, this reminds me of another thing, but I kind of forgot already. Shoot. What was it? Right. It's about bragging. So I told Pepper that I don't need to watch English subtitles to be able to understand an English speaking movie. But then when I say that, Pepper thought I wasn't bragging. Like I didn't come off braggadocious when I said that. Because a little bit later today, Pepper asked me if I can listen to an English song without looking at the lyrics. And I'm like, sometimes, but I still need to look at the lyrics. It's a little more difficult for me. And Pepper's like, wow, you're so honest. Wow. And then Pepper told me how like I don't seem like I'm lying. Like I feel like it feels as though I'm telling the truth when I said, oh, I don't need subtitles. It's just true. I know, you know? But yeah, again, like sometimes I'm proud of myself. I really am. And where did this self-esteem come from? Where did this sense of self-esteem come from? Like, because back in 2019 and 2020, I had zero self-esteem. I hate myself completely. I was a complete loser. But then right here, I flourish like never before. I feel so powerful, and I feel like I finally realized my potential, my linguistic ability, my creativity, the shit I've learned back in secondary school, you know, the people connection shit. I know how to deal with that now. I know how to gain people's trust. I know how to get into things and get into gangs. And just my passion for filmmaking, me with my time management and my organization skills, all come together to really launch me into a world where I'm truly, I wouldn't say I'm great. I'm still far from that, but I am winning like never before. 2022 is really coming up to be one of the best years of my life. not coming up. It already is. I mean, again, first 3 months is hell, but after that, it's just nothing but awesomeness. Yeah, just gonna leave it at that. Wow. More updates. So time now is 10:33. I just cooked myself quick dinner. 150 mils of white rice. 2 leaves of dai bok choy, wawa choy. Not even with garlic, not even frying with soy sauce or anything. Just boiling it, add salt. That's it. And then I'll finish the pork strips, and I would have already crossed 2,400 calories today. The maca was like 430 calories for a grande size, but for a tall size, which is 12 ounce, it's 322 calories. I'm gonna guess it's tall, but it's probably not. And then yeah, the tacos probably have tons of calories. It's good I am consuming a lot of calories though, because today I really do require a lot of calories. I'm really fucking tired. Um, and yeah, Cindy used, so I was drying, I think yesterday or a couple days ago, yesterday I was drying my plastic container, one of the plastic containers I keep for myself, and I was like, where is it? Apparently Cindy used it to store some weird yellowy brownish substance. I thought it's like a leftover, so I found it and I asked Cindy, is this mine? And Cindy's like, yeah. And then I just threw away the weird brown gooey substance. And then Cindy's like, oh, well, I was going to use it to like store eggs or something. And I was like, and then she's like, oh, but you spilled it already. And I'm like, oh, sorry. And then Cindy was being cheeky about it. She's like, oh yeah, you see that the station or the whatever word she used to call a pantry. She said, oh, I'm gonna clean it up. I always clean it up, right? And before she even like talked to me like this, she and that other white dude was already talking about like bad roommates. Am I the bad roommate here? I'm just trying to sleep, man. Is she talking about herself? At this point, I don't even know. But I'm honestly so tired that I'm not even going to be confrontational or anything. Just have it your way. Just remember to clean up my fucking plastic container because it's fucking mine, Yeah, that's all.